Good morning, everybody, and welcome to a Sunday sermon. This morning is going to be very special. We're going to bring you the spirit of the Toba. Toba was the wife of Jesus. Now, many of you probably don't even understand that Jesus was married and had a family, but I will point out to you that there are almost 28 years in the life of Jesus that are not addressed in the Gospels. I did address this in my previous book, Channeling the Life of Jesus, and we did introduce Toba and the family in that book. I'm currently finishing my 11th book. It's going to be called Jesus, the Missing Years. And in this book that will soon be coming out, we spend a lot of time speaking about the life of Jesus and his family. His family was kept a secret from the Romans for safety reasons, but she is an incredible spirit, and she is here with us to speak. So, Toba, if you're ready, I am. Good morning, everyone. Yes, I truly was married to Jesus. I know that my name does not appear in the Gospels, and I know that even the fact that he was married does not appear in the Gospels. But Jesus wanted to know the love of family. He wanted to know the love of children. He wanted to know what it was like to experience all of these things. So I was blessed to have been sent back as a soulmate to marry him. I did, and we had 4 beautiful children. It was a wonderful relationship, and it was an amazing life to be with him. Jesus was an incredible personality. He was always laughing, never showed anger, always trying to help somebody. He would go out of his way to do things, and he would say things, and he would just simply be this wonderful person. He was an amazing father. If the children were sick and crying, he would stay up with them all night. And then the next day he would go to work to try to earn money to support his family. You see, there were times that Jesus was an absolutely normal person, just like you or I. He was perfectly normal. He lived its normal life. And that's why there's nothing in the Gospels for that long period of time. When you learn the total truth about Jesus, you will be totally amazed. Imagine that God would return and incarnate in a human body. That's what he did with Jesus. And he wanted to understand all of the things the humans go through in their lives. Jesus was especially upset about the poverty in the world that he lived in. Sadly, 2,000 years later, it's no different. Why do you think poverty exists? Why do you think that everyone does not have the food they need, a roof over their heads? Well, it's because of many, many reasons. It's because of free choice in many cases, because many humans aren't willing to help. Many humans aren't willing to go forth and help the other humans that need the help. There's another reason that's a lot sadder why there is poverty. Many people are blessed with great wealth, and they make a point of not using it to help others. So they create this karma that will follow them in future lives, and that karma will have them live lives of poverty. So you see, as long as people don't help, there will be poverty. But what you need to do is to set off the chain reaction of help. If you help others, then your future lives will be wonderful. you will have created good karma, and that karma will be reflected in your life plan. You see, if people did not create their own bad karma, then a lot of bad things would not be taking place in the world today. You can cure poverty just simply by helping others, because then you don't create the karma of poverty in the future. There will always be some people that are not capable of helping themselves. There are people that have mental disorders, they're physically hurting. There are many people that go to war and come back wounded in ways that you cannot see. They're wounded in ways that affect their lives. You think you're mostly referring to it now as PTSD, but there's many ways. Shell shock through the ages. When we lived, the Roman army didn't really accept the concept of having mental problems with war. They were very warlike people. Their armies ruled the known world at that time. You see, when we lived during that time, Jesus knew what was ahead for him. He knew that there would be a time that the Romans would take his life. He was very, very careful to protect us. There was no way that he wanted his family to be killed by the Romans, and that would have been a distinct possibility if they would have known about us. You see, the Romans did not care about taking lives. They thought that lives were theirs to take. There was justice for the Roman citizens. If you were not a Roman citizen, and there were many members of the Jewish faith that were not, then they were looked at differently by Romans. A crucifixion was not for Roman citizens, but it was difficult to be a true Roman citizen. Most of the Jewish people or the tribes or people that the Romans were trying to conquer, they killed, tortured, and crucified. Sadly, there's still countries that are doing that. You're seeing countries at war that are like animals, wild animals. They will torture people that they capture, innocent people, for no reason. Sadly, not much has changed, has it? If you look at history, you'll understand that not much has changed. In spite of all the efforts that we have done to bring the words of God and Jesus, my husband, to the people, they still react badly. Many, many people do not believe that it's possible to have a God. Many people do not believe that my husband walked the earth. I can assure you he did. I loved him so much. He was such a good person. He was so unique. But then again, God should be unique when he's in a human body. But he was the personification of what he was sent back to do. He could do miracles. He could heal others. He actually brought people back to life that had passed. He could do many, many things. He could show love. That was probably the most important thing he did. He loved to speak to the people. He spoke to them in very plain language. Many times he would tell them just simply that they needed to live a good life and they would join him in heaven. What could be more simple than that? He would say, don't go out and hurt others if you do not want to be hurt. Do not show anger if you do not want anger shown to you. He spoke very simply. He spoke words that the uneducated and the poor could understand, and they followed him. He was so dynamic that people that had never met him previously would leave their jobs and they would follow him to help spread his words. If individuals had not followed him to spread his words would have died with him on the cross, but that was not to be. He was such a wonderful person that people would actually give their lives. The Romans would ask them to choose. Do you choose to be a Christian and follow this non-believer? Or will you follow our faith? And they would follow Jesus. And because of it, they would be put to death in many instances. The Romans would have what they called games, and to them, they thought this was funny to watch human life being taken away. They would take the Christians and they would put them in the middle of their coliseums, and they'd turn the animals loose, and they would call that a game. Today, many humans turn the weapons of destruction loose on innocent people, and they call that a game. I wish that I could say that many things have changed in the world. Humans now have great technologies that they never had before. Sadly, they use it. Some use it in the right ways, and some are using it to build weapons of destruction. One thing that Jesus always said was tell the truth. Never lie to people. Always let them know the facts. Do not mislead them. When he spoke of heaven, he certainly wasn't misleading, because that is the surest thing that will ever happen to you. When you close your eyes on that final day, heaven will become a true reality for you. Jesus never lied. Jesus never told things that would mislead people. Today, oh my goodness, as we watch from over here, all we see are deceit, propaganda, lies. It seems as though many people cannot tell the truth. Many, I think, don't even recognize it anymore. The innocent people are the ones that are being lied to. Many innocent people cannot decipher the truth from fiction. Many people are not even capable of understanding what they are hearing. Today, you're seeing many young people turn away from religion and faith. Why do you think that is happening? It's because the religions often lie to you as well. They tell you what they want you to believe, not necessarily what is true. Many of the religions are so set in their ways that they are incapable of hearing the truth and believing it. A religion cannot make a lot of money if they speak the same simple words that Jesus spoke. How many religions would you see where you come in and you sit down in the church and the preacher stands up and he says, "Live a good life and you will go to heaven. Amen." And then you leave? That's unimaginable, isn't it? Many religions think that if you don't spend a lot of time in church, you're not getting your money's worth, because many of them are looking for the money. So they try to give you an hour of entertainment, of information. You can simply make up your mind today that you are going to live this good life, help others, not show anger. And then you're going to say to yourself, I no longer fear death, and I'm finding the greatest happiness I ever had in my life. We want to see religions work. Many religions are wonderful. They do charities. They help house the people that have no housing. Many religions attempt to follow the true meaning of my husband's words. But many are strictly involved in self-interest. I would be so pleased if each of you out there simply could find a balance where you find a good religion, one that's honest with you, attended for the social things, for the getting along with others, for conversation with others, for helping others. There's nothing we want more than for you to help. So many people need help today. They need help spiritually. They need help physically. There are many, many ways that you can help others. My family, I had 5 beautiful children. I had a daughter that had great physical problems. Why would you say to yourself, did Jesus not do a miracle and save his daughter, his own daughter? Why wouldn't you do that? He needed to learn. He needed to learn what it was like to be with an individual with physical problems. He loved her as much as he loved any of his other children. Just because individuals may not be the same as you does not mean that you should not love them. Jesus needed to learn as much as he could in his short lifetime as a human. He wanted to better understand humans so that in the future he could have his angels direct them better, have his Holy Spirits come to them and answer prayers in a better manner. He needed to understand. Everyone needs to understand. You need to understand when you're being lied to. You need to understand when you're being told the truth. You need to know when you're being deceived. And you need to know when you are not being deceived. Life in my time was very difficult. It was simpler. We did not have your computers and TVs. We did not have news channels that could tell you the lies or the truth. But we were isolated from the world, basically. We would have caravans come through, and we would ask the merchants what was taking place in parts of the world. The Romans did not speak much of what was going on in other parts of the world. Many Romans just simply worshiped all their idols, but they knew very little. The Romans would conscript the young into their armies. Their armies were incredibly powerful because the Romans would want to expand by conquering their adjoining nations. Many emperors thought that the only sign of power was to conquer others. We thought those days were pretty well gone, but we're seeing a major war today where someone is trying to conquer another country. We had hoped those days were behind us, but apparently they're not. The answer is love. The answer is coexistence. The answer is for each person to do their best. If each individual showed love, then within several generations, your lives would so improve. The young are the key to the future. I know you hear this all the time. It's not going to change. What you teach the young is what those people will show when they become the leaders of the future. Many people say that age brings wisdom. That's not necessarily true either. We see many aged people that don't believe in God, so they have not learned the true wisdom of life. They're about to learn it, and they will understand their mistakes. But that's another story for another day. Jesus lived. Jesus was an incredible human being. Jesus devoted his life to learning and to helping others. He knew immediately what needed to be done when he would see a person that needed help. He would help them. He was never rich. He was always a very poor person. But he managed to support his family. He managed to support himself. And he showed this incredible love that was so contagious. He did all of the things that a human should do. And he told you very clearly what you need to do to emulate him. You need to show love. You need to coexist. You need to understand that all souls are equal. But most of all, you need to understand that your soul is going to his home, heaven. It happens to everyone. So thank you very much for allowing me to speak today. I know most of you never heard of me. Hopefully, when Barry brings this new book out, you'll have a better understanding of my husband and how he lived his life. It's an incredible, incredible assortment of facts. No one knows them now, but they will have the opportunity in the future. I know my husband is here blessing you. Yes, Jesus blesses all of you now and hopes that you will truly follow his words. Goodbye, and thank you so much. Wow. Very, very good talk today. She covered areas I didn't think she was going to speak of, but what do I know? Thank you very much. Jesus has blessed all of you. Have a great week, and we will be back again next week.